It was
our,
safe. And I remember you telling a story last
yes,
September, and I was going to ask you
yes,
about that because you were saying that used to it was so safe and you could travel freely around,
yes,
and you
we
could,
did.
if you needed to hitchhike or get a ride with somebody, you could do that. But I remember you telling me a story about you hitching a ride one time, and it
Ah, you
scared
remind
you.
me that I have to tell you
Okay.
this one. You see, um, hmm. You see, my mother was getting sick around before 90s, and I lived in that particular time. We had to move from Serbia. We used to live in Niš, but because of 98s, after 98s, after Tito died, uh, all all things just get down and get apart.
Hmm.
We just didn't have that economy support like we used to have. The I used to work in a music school like a professor of music, and my first husband, he was in a symphony orchestra working. But even that sources, we didn't have really enough money. We
Mhm.
didn't we couldn't live with that money, so with that income. So they offer us some job in Skopje, so that's why we moved in Skopje. But economy gets worse and worse after Tito died. The I would say the foreign forces, like foreign countries, get so much involved.
Okay.
You know, they they were so interesting about Yugoslavia to exploitate, because Yugoslavia was a very wealthy country.
Mm.
So many mines and factories, different kind of sources to get. I guess I'm not so much involved in that, but what I really want to say, the foreign countries and that separation get really so fast.
And when did the separation happen? What
Started,
over a period of
I'll
time?
tell you, yeah, was kind of, I would say, after right after 90s. And that is the right what you asked me to say. My mother was sick and I was traveling from Skopje to Niš. And I said, we didn't have a money to buy a decent car.
Mhm.
We had some kind of Peugeot old, and I was driving and suddenly my Peugeot stopped.
Hmm.
And I said, I have to go. So behind me was coming the car and I was stopping. We felt so safe in that Yugoslavia that
Mhm.
we would just stop somebody to help us. And of course, people stop and they ask, okay, what's wrong? And I said, if you want just to give me a ride to first city, which was Vranje, I'm gonna take some mechanic and come for my car because I have to travel to see my mother. And they said, oh, that's no problem. They were like man, 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 and woman.
Wow. You
And
did
I was
say.
sitting right next to that woman, and they continue conversation, which I assume they've been talking about that before I came, before they jumped me into the car. So one man was telling the other, and look, that was 1988.
Okay.
1989 probably. I can't recall right now.
Okay.
One man was telling to the other on the front seat, I'll translate you this one,
Mhm.
said, vidjet ćeš ti, brate, bit će to krvi do koljena. And I said, no,
Mm.
that's not, because they've been talking about that demonstration and so, which were occurred before that all events.
Mhm.
And I said, no, that cannot be happened. I was going with so disturbed heart and emotions to my mother, and I didn't want to say anything. I went to buy her something in a store, and I was listening uh, because that like explode my head,
Mhm.
because I got some information before that even before that event, but not quite sure that is really true, that will start the war.
Mhm. Did they when you overheard them talking, did they
Yes.
give a timeline or when they thought that was going to happen? Or
No,
you
no,
just
no,
knew
no.
they were
They've
talking
been talking,
about
but I knew it. I
it?
knew it because they've been talking about it, that the incidents, you know, here and there in between Albanians and Serbs and Bosnians and Croatians and different, you know, small kind of arguments with the weapons, I would say,
Okay.
you know. And then when I came to my father, my my father, I would say, okay, what do you think? What is going to be happen now?
Mhm.
And I do remember my mother was, it's not going to be good.
Mm.
I think it's not going to be good. So I was so disturbed that it was just hurting me so much.
Mhm.
After that, year later, my mother died. Before she died in a hospital, I was, and she was telling me, kaže, čeri bežite, krijte se. Oni dolaze po vas, krijte se. She was telling, daughter, run, go run away because they are coming after you. They are coming after you. And I was, you know, just like, mother, oh, please don't worry. Everything will be fine. Nothing, I'll be just fine. Look at me. You know, it's so. But deep inside, in a heart, so that how started actually. 1991 started first in Slovenia, I think. Then it goes to Bosnia. Bosnia was so destroyed with was really awful. It was unfortunately more religious war. Started between nations, and then of course they've been um, persuading by the foreign countries. They've been. I don't know exactly who was in United Nations that time, and I don't want to go into politics. I really don't know too much about that. But what I'm trying to say, that was a really very difficult time in Bosnia, and was blood up to the knees.
And blood up to the knees was what they had said when you were in
Yeah.
that car, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Yes. So what happened further? Yugoslavia started dividing. First, Slovenia divide, and I don't know how that goes. Slovenia, then Croatia, I think. But anyway, Serbia and Crna Gora stayed for a while, and then they separated.
And so
Economy.
did it go back then to the six republics? Is that what happened? No, it did
No,
not
they,
go
they
back.
just they stayed individual. They didn't connect together.
Okay.
They didn't. They didn't. They stayed separately, and then they start to put the borders,
Mhm.
which was even more hurt, giving more pain to your soul because you know that you've been so free
Mm.
driving, through all, but that and what I was going to say. Hmm, what I was going to say something. Uh, uh, yeah, why is the socialism so changed from the Tito socialism to socialism? What appeared after years later, after his death, 1 decade later, I would say, was Ante Markovic.
And that
That the
was
guy was
the
trying.
president that came after Tito?
No, it was economy specialist who was who was trying to do all the best for the, for people, for country before they start separating. But there was no way that he can do. The I don't know much about economy, how that go really very very fast way. They just lose the strings and they just uh,
Now, you did tell me that
it,
Tito had been borrowing a lot of money, correct? Because he was funding
yes,
education and those things through the borrowed money.
that's right. He was borrowing money, but he was giving also. The foreign countries are coming and exploitate so many mines and valuables from the country. But after him, that turns like a kind of criminal way, I would say, not honest way,
Okay.
not honest way. What I want to tell you, we were in Skopje, in Macedonia, in that period of time. We have children who are already teenagers, um, and Marta, she's supposed to go to university soon, and Yanni. We didn't have money for 3 months. Sometimes we didn't have an income. We worked in opera. We didn't have an income. I would go to the market with just a little bit money,
Mm-hmm.
and I would buy just a little something, very inexpensive to make something so we can eat. It's so
I remember you telling the story when I was there, and Yanni was there, and he was verifying this, that you used to take something like it was a condiment of either ketchup or mayonnaise or something, and you would put that in water, and that would be a soup. And like you said before, your soup might be one potato. And I remember you were saying, you
yeah.
asked Yanni, do you remember that time that happened? And he said, Mom, that happened a lot of the time. And so
He would open refrigerator, and that will be one jar of some marmalade or something which Babatina would give it to us, grandmother, Yanni's grandmother, and that was one little uh, bag of mayonnaise and just a little some things, and Yanni would go just open refrigerator and just closed. There was nothing to eat.
Neat. How long did that go on, that period of, and honestly, I don't know if that would be, if that was a recession or a depression.
Well, you know what, it was a recession and a depression in the same time. But I'll tell you something, we've been so proud people. We've been so proud, and you know what, like we are musicians. We don't care, we are different kind of souls, you know. We, okay, let's go, we'll be better next time. So but it was very difficult. But you know what I did, I started to work three different kind of jobs in that period of time. From America, that was Kirby. From somewhere, I don't remember, was I think was from Austria. I don't remember. Oh no, from Austria was Scepter, Kirby, and Lamatex were from here, I think. So I was a really very good the presentator to all this, earning some money, but still wasn't really easy because I was leaving my children instead to be with them to focus on their life and youth. I had to be out from home from a long period of time to succeed in that what I'm doing. But I was bringing money at home. That's true.